Building and nurturing the food ecosystem. On a mission to provide world-class F&B experience, Franchise India organized the Indian Restaurant Congress 2016. Themed #DoTheNew, the two-day forum connected more than 500 F&B brands and top restaurant entrepreneurs under one roof.
As an industry, we feel that the industry is going to see a tremendous amount of growth in the next 3 to 5 years. And this show would get positioned to become the mouthpiece or probably idea creation for the times to come.
The event is gaining in stature year upon year and is becoming extremely important for chains to come and deliberate on operations, opportunities, and any other issue that concerns them, and it's becoming the knowledge platform for the industry.
The restaurant industry and the food industry has perhaps some of the most intelligent, most creative, most dynamic entrepreneurs working in an extremely demanding industry. So please take a minute to just give a huge applause to yourselves, because I think you're all fantastic. This industry is all about direct consumption. So restaurant industry, I mean, if you go by my mind, I think it should become the foodtainment industry. It's completely changed. The menus have completely changed. The more I read about the industry, I find things like molecular gastronomy, I love it. I think it's great what the kind of food that you get to experience when you go to a restaurant is super. And, the entrepreneur to me is one of the, why I said in the beginning also, why I love these entrepreneurs in the restaurant industry is primarily because, they've got this great shoulder on their head, which they know how to sort of balance between social and economics. So, they know how to take their fun seriously, which is, I don't see this kind of thing, this kind of spirit in any other industry apart from the restaurant industry. So foodtainment industry it is for you, ladies and gentlemen. The next 2 days are all about you, so learn, network, and meet with each other. There's a lot of learning which is happening in this hall. Welcome once again. Thank you very much.
The event commenced with the inaugural session focusing on the key growth drivers and business opportunities in the food business.
India is expected to be the largest consumer market in the world by 2030, in the world, ahead of China and the US. But the good thing is that we don't have to wait until 2030 to have something meaningful to do. In the next 15 years, I think there'll continue to be a huge runway of opportunities for food service and other businesses in India. And there are 3 reasons for that. One, as you know, India is and will be, for the next 15 years, the youngest country in the world. Second, I think we'll add 200 million people to the global workforce in the next 15 years. And third, I think there's going to be an unprecedented wave of urban migration, almost 200 million people moving towards urban centers in India. And all of that, I think, is going to create tremendous opportunity for businesses in India. And therefore, I think leveraging the insights of youth, innovation, value, and purpose, I believe you can construct the building blocks of an iconic brand, which in the end will deliver tremendous shareholder value and also do all of this with a huge heart so that we can have community impact as well. Thank you for listening.
One of the, attempt is to ensure that you have, continuous commitment to food safety, day in and day out, and we assist, as a regulator authority, we assist you in ensuring that commitment is always there. If, we visit a doctor and tell him stomach upset hai, so the next question he asks is कि बाहर से खाना खाया होगा आपने. So I think all of us need to ensure that whatever catering happens, whatever, whenever we eat out, we can take it for granted that is, the food is safe. While we do appreciate the big businesses ensuring food safety in their own establishments, I think this is a joint and shared responsibility of all of us.
We've had today, the conference theme, as all of our speakers has noted on India's demographics. It's a young nation. There's a population which is growing. And where is it growing? It's growing in the villages, in the small towns. And how do businesses that are coming up in the metros take advantage of that? So there's going to be a need to scale, build aspirational brands, which Naren very rightly talked about, sound marketing. At the same time, we are going to have a situation where inflation and paying capacity of the Indian customer is going to be rather limited. We are seeing that today. In the last 1 or 2 years, we've seen a huge dip in restaurant volumes, or rather lack of growth, which is associated with the economic scenario. So in order to take advantage of this, my submission today to this audience is that to take a special interest on the supply chain side. Restaurant economics, value for money is going to be the key. Delivering safe, consistent, high-quality food is going to be the order of the day. That's where the big volume is going to be there. It's at the bottom of the pyramid.
This event is pretty fantastic for not just entrepreneurs, but investors, vendors, to be able to connect at all kinds of levels.
It's a heartfelt attempt to bring all the stakeholders of the restaurant business together and get people talking and getting them to network and getting them to know each other, promoting best practices and leadership.
With consumer being the king, the next session talked about finding the new consumer mojo and what will make customers choose one restaurant over the other.
Is the customer, is our consumer, is the Indian consumer, which all of you in some shape or form are trying to chase. What's new about it? But maybe we'll start, Priyank, with you. Question I want to ask you, in your business, right, last 1 year, what's the one new thing you've done?
So we have a very diversified interest in all our ventures in hospitality, ranging from bars to cafes, to all-day diners, to fine dining in Indian and Oriental restaurants. What's really new this year that's really happened is that the focus has been really shifted towards entertainment, apart from food also. And the emphasis on comfort food has gone very strong. As I said earlier, entertainment is a very strong forte. We get calls, and the first question somebody asks before a reservation, that who's playing tonight? What's happening tonight? Do you have a band? Especially on, earlier it used to happen on weekdays. Now weekends also, people do expect something or the other in the restaurant. That's what's happening, and we have to give the whole package, because anybody who's working has those 2 hours and he needs to de-stress, and we have to give them a platform where everything happens.
Just to give a little bit of sense probably in the airport sector, because I know restaurants and bars, I think we'll touch on that, maybe a little bit different perspective on some of the new stuff we're seeing. So there's a lot, consumers today are undoubtedly looking for something which, looking for different ways of getting the product to them than what was there in the past. One thing which is big today in airports, the whole thing on the move, people have less time. A nice way to, the whole thing about apps, and you've seen this whole explosion that's happened. I think it's down in a good way to people want to be lazy. They want to put less effort and have the product reach them with the least effort possible. we've thought of that in our little way. We've not been as innovative as most of these tech startups out there. But for example, in our packaging, in our foods we give at the airports, simple things, whether it's pizza by the slice and packaged product, whether it's giving rolls in hard packaging that doesn't allow dripping to happen, whether it's giving brownies pre-packed, taking it on the flight. You have today tea we are serving. I've seen some other brands also do it, where tea is served in larger containers, so it maintains its temperature when you take it on the flight. So simple things like that. People want quick purchase and consume. Less time for transactions. People want to quick on the move and do those things.
We strongly believe that there is no beer in heaven, so you have to drink it here. And if you're actually going to drink it, then why not drink the best? And that's what our philosophy is. So in this year, we've used a lot of digital first and mobile first. And one of the reasons, that's my own secret sauce, that we got Silicon Valley funded was because they saw us as a tech company serving beer. Everybody gets very tempted with tech. Restaurants and food services are considered hard brick and mortar companies. It's very difficult to scale, very difficult to sustain, and all kinds of metrics play in. But when technology comes in, you can actually scale quicker. You can use it to become far more efficient. So we do a lot of things. On the consumer side, we use our own app, which is 21% of all our transactions are actually scanned by the consumers themselves to earn points and redeem points. On our own side, we do a lot of stealth work.
Let me talk a little bit about our own restaurants. Olive has been in Bombay for 15 plus years, Bangalore for 9 plus, Delhi for somewhere in between. What we did in Bangalore, where we were a great restaurant, 9 years old, we shut it down for a month with prior planning and made it more of a bar-friendly vibe. We put a new bar in, a new look and feel, covered some area. I'm happy to say that the sales went up from 45 to about 60 lakhs. In Bombay, what happened was we helped develop a set of promoters, which was still pretty new in the marketplace in Bombay. And they drive in on Thursday nights, which is our big night, a really vast-ranging crowd who's coming to have fun. Get us a lot of people who wouldn't come otherwise. Then they come back once, twice for those bar nights, and they'll come for a brunch. And slowly, some of them will convert to becoming our customers. So just by pushing out a fun night, that helped to keep the Olive in Bandra fresh and relevant.
I think Indian Restaurant Congress is a brilliant platform for people who either want to venture out into restaurants or who are already running restaurants but have some shortcomings or want to understand where the industry is heading.
It's very important, as chefs and as entrepreneurs and as business holders of various brands and things, when they meet together, they exchange ideas, new formats open up, you get into networking.
Celebrating exemplary work in the restaurant business, we bring you the Indian Restaurant Congress Awards after the break. Day 2 saw sessions that were out of the box and relevant for the restaurateur of today.
It's very important, that all important stakeholders in the ecosystem come together and think through opportunities and learn from each other's experiences. Particularly, in this kind of a gathering, when see many multinational chains participating.
It's great to be at the Restaurant Congress. I always love being here. And I think particularly special this time around to share with everybody the big opportunity for the food business in India and share some of my personal experiences on what are the insights that are unique to India that can help entrepreneurs build on and develop successful concepts for the future.
With restaurants eyeing exponential growth, the next session highlighted what Excellence 2.0 means in terms of quality, training and marketing strategies.
What you see as big enablers for the businesses as they expand, especially the restaurant franchising and non-franchising business, and what role does technology play in that?
So ours is, we run Chili's Grill and Bar in South and West India, and ours has been a very interesting case, because as a franchisee of the Chili's brand, we have to adopt the systems that the brand has in the US. And surprisingly, Chili's in the US is not very technologically savvy. And I come from a background where I strongly believe in technology enabling the business. So what we've done in the last 3 years, we've invested heavily in integrating lots of parts of our businesses. So let me start with the back of the house. So we have a POS, which is integrated with the material management system, which is integrated with the ERP. What that means is that every day, at the end of the day, I can take out from the system what is my ideal cost and what is my actual cost. So it's very easy for me to control the food cost.
We use technology in other parts besides, just operations. Our recipes are online. So, for example, if a head chef is forgetting certain items within the dish, we allow him to access that recipe through a locked passcode. So we time it. We know who's accessing the recipe. So there's, you can try and avoid theft in that manner in respect to leakages.
I just want to add to what Kabir just mentioned. I think technology, specifically in training, plays a massive role. We've gone through a journey of, having training manuals, those big, fat, thick manuals, and allocating time for team members to go through that and, do physical certification. From there, we've come to a level of online, like you're talking about. And more importantly, we realized that training has to be on demand. So when the team member is standing on the line and making the food, if at that point of time there is something that he needs to know, it has to be on demand. So there has to be a tablet or some interface that he's able to kind of click. And the training for that station should be only beamed in that particular station.
As a global brand, Carl's Jr. being the third largest burger chain in the world, we've got almost 4,000 stores globally. The cost of getting a trainer from overseas. Now you can train the trainer as well and send people there, but again, it's expensive. So what do you do with a single unit? The vision might be that you've got to open 100 restaurants maybe in 5 years, but the fact of the matter is, what do you do now? So, we've got, for example, videos with, which are, cartoon videos, if I may say, where you've actually got a person teaching you how to make a burger. So, he explains what the crown is, what the heel is, how you put the sauce, how much of it is to be poured, and, how do you serve it, what temperature, etc. So when you see a video, you would sort of get trained the same way as you would get trained any other way. And there's online and offline training.
The reach now that you have from your own restaurant is no longer just the four walls. It's going outside the four walls where people are getting brand awareness, being able to take what did this person buy, who did they send it to, what did they come in for, how frequent do they have. Guess what? They have your email address, they have your number, they have these analytic information to be able to better target you. And I guess my point, just to be brief, is there are data analytics to companies or push notifications now to apps, to malls, to developers. They know where you are at what point.
We have completely integrated technology into our business. Unlike the big players, we don't have millions to spend on technology, so we spend a lot of time shopping for what solutions are already built and out there and how we can plug and play those different solutions into our business. Back to your initial comment on technology and social media with customers. The expectation just goes higher and higher and higher. Customers expect a response within 24 hours, 4 hours, 1 hour. Now customers expect a response within minutes. And it's also a good way to, unfortunately, you can't be in the restaurant to see the faces of the customer, so social media is a great way to connect.
I think it's very important for all restaurateurs to understand who their customer is and what their customer's expectations are, price points are, what food, what trends they're looking for, etc. That keeps changing. So it's important to keep up with that.
Well, this kind of event is absolutely excellent. I think it's a brilliant opportunity to bring a whole range of restaurateurs and the providers and supply chain and advisors all together under the one roof for the one Congress. From my point of view, it gave me an opportunity to show how loyalty extends and expands across a broad portfolio of businesses, not just the actual restaurants, but all those others in the supply chain as well.
Do 2 days of networking, discussions and sharing of ideas, the Indian Restaurant Congress came to a close with the much-awaited award ceremony. Recognizing those who are trying to make a mark in the food and beverage industry.
Please welcome the best caterer of the year, Foodlink Banquets and Catering India Private Limited, as exclusive as you. The best regional kitchen equipment manufacturer and supplier of the year. Please give it up for Middleby Self-Frost Innovations Private Limited to be the #1 food service equipment manufacturer and service and be an industry leader through innovation. Our next award honors creativity, the best theme-based restaurant of the year. The award goes to the Bar Stock Exchange. The best debutant chain of the year, please welcome Broster Chicken. Always fresh, tender and juicy. Our next award honors the best ice cream parlor of the year. Please welcome Gyani. It's time for us to welcome the best chef of the year. Guys, please do give him a big round of applause. It takes a lot to be the best chef of the year. You know him, he's been on stage several times. He's here with us. We are honored to have him. Please welcome the director, Turban Tadka Hospitality Private Limited, Chef Harpal Singh Soti. May I request you all to please give a standing ovation to the restaurateur of the year, Priya Sukija.
This year we especially saw a lot of young entrepreneurs, restaurant entrepreneurs coming up, some very interesting ideas, some new cutting-edge technology, a lot of good suppliers, a lot of international brands who now want to look at Indian marketplace because we have more stomachs than any part of the world. So I think in nutshell, the show is emerging to be a very successful property of Franchise India, and in years to come we'll continue to build this.